On the morning of January 17th, 1994, I woke up around 4:30 in the morning for really no reason whatsoever. I was a senior in college, and I never woke up at 4:30 in the morning for anything. Know what I mean? My 3 roommates were uncharacteristically out of town, so to nurse my anxiety of being alone at night, I slept out on the living room couch, which was more of a collegiate futon with a rainbow mattress. So it's 4:30 a.m., I wake up unprovoked, and I decide I'll return to my slightly less collegiate bed in my room. And as I'm walking back, all of a sudden, the room starts shaking. And I mean shaking. So I dive under a desk and take cover until it stops. And when I look back at the futon that I was just sleeping on, it's not there. It's gone. I mean, gone. In fact, everything in the living room was gone. The wall unit, the glass shelves, the TV, the VCR, all of it gone. And as I made my way through the dust and the darkness, I could see that the inside of my apartment was now on the outside of my apartment. That's right, the entire living room fell to the apartment below, taking most of the hardwood floors and my homework. That was one excuse I was actually able to get away with in college. But the earthquake ate my homework. And believe it or not, no one was hurt in the apartment below, considering we just experienced the massive 6.7 Northridge earthquake that shook Southern California and did a lot of damage doing so. It's quite a story, huh? I mean, it's got everything, right? Excitement, suspense, a little terror, some humor. And were you wondering what happened? Of course you were wondering. And why? Because I engaged you. I engaged you in a human experience. This story made you feel something, did it not? It made you think. It made you want to hear more. And it probably solidified your decision to continue to listen to the rest of my talk. Am I right? And do you know why you made that decision? It's because we're in a relationship. For the next 12 minutes, you and I are in an intimate communications relationship. We're a couple. This dynamic right here of me, the speaker, and you, the audience, is called neural coupling. It's when the brains of both the speakers and the listeners line up. So for the duration of this talk, your brain has decided, based on what it's heard so far, that it wants to hear what my brain has to say. Neural coupling. I began this talk with a story about an intense human experience that a lot of people can relate to. And not just a human experience, a personal experience. Because no one is going to care about anything I have to say if I start off with a bunch of meaningless facts and figures and gobbledygook. And why? Because people don't connect with facts. They connect with feelings. I recently read that the average adult attention span has plummeted from 12 to 5 minutes in the last decade. 5 minutes. And the average audience will tune out 84% of what you say. Wow. So if that's correct, then 84% of what I say here today, you will not even register. Unless what? Unless I've given you a reason to care, right? I think Benjamin Franklin said it best. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. Involve me and I learn. You are the reason I'm here. You are the reason this TED Talk is here. The whole concept of ideas worth spreading is about you. What I can give you. What I can teach you. But most important, what I can make you feel. So, we've established why this is important. But how will this make a difference in your life? Well, some of you run companies. Some of you are the head of your departments. Some of you run political groups. meetups, PTAs, soccer teams, debate teams, or the neighborhood watch. Some of you are the head of your households, while some of you speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. Everybody has a constituency of people who they want to influence. And if you think about it, we all give speeches to those groups in some capacity, even if it's not at the podium. And how you carry that message is crucial to how they respond to you. I was recently invited to a company to give a talk on creative writing, and as I was waiting in the waiting room for them to come in, I could hear a meeting in progress in the room next door. The head of human resources was speaking to her department about things going on in the company, and she spent the first 3 minutes or so talking about herself, how lucky she was, how thankful she felt to have been at the company for so long, and more facts and figures about employment and turnover and benefits and healthcare. She spent 3 more minutes thanking people who were not even in the room. And of course, I'm dying to see how the audience is responding to this very ineffective opening to her talk, right? So I peek my head in like a good nosy person to get a look at the group. Not one head was upright. No one was looking at her. Guess what they were looking at? This! The device glued to their hand. And why? Because she didn't engage them with a memorable experience. We know for sure that 84% of what she said was tuned out because people don't connect with facts. They connect with feelings. In 1863, President Abraham Lincoln gave the world-famous Gettysburg Address, which will be remembered as one of the most important speeches in American history, because in 273 words, he made people feel. He invoked the principles of inequality and connected the sacrifices of the Civil War with a desire for a new birth of freedom. At no time did he say, "Thanks for having me, I'm really grateful to be here." He went on to say that the world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did hear. How's that for memorable? So, let's get a little practical. We now know why this is important, but how will neural coupling make a difference in your life out in the real world? What can you do today as the head of your constituencies to convey your message in a way that is relevant, relatable, and memorable? One word. Speak. Simply present experience the audience keeps. And how do we do that? It's very simple. We do that through storytelling. What is it about the frivolous activity of storytelling that makes it so powerful? Humans are actually hyper-intelligent and hyper-social creatures. So a story is a thing that does, rather than a thing that is. It's a tool with measurable utility, rather than an object for aesthetic admiration. Attention is the reward that listeners bestow on a storyteller. You see, reasons don't change behavior. When it comes to inspiring people to embrace a new concept, storytelling isn't just better than all the other tools, it's the only thing that works. But storytelling got very little respect until recently. As the scientific approaches to life became dominant in the 20th century, mechanistic machine-like thinking was triumphant, right? Analysis was king. But narrative was seen as trivial and infantile. This phenomenon didn't just affect storytelling. In retrospect, the 20th century can be seen as a giant experiment by the human race to find out what could happen if organizations treated people as objects and communicated to them in abstractions and numbers rather than through storytelling that the actual people can relate to. Customers became demand or consumers to be manipulated rather than living, breathing, feeling human beings to be delighted. The whole approach was a colossal failure. It made the humans miserable, and it forced innovators to get in touch with the human condition. I remember when I was starting out as a young advertising associate, the elders used to say to me, "Okay, we use a very simple formula here to convey our message. 1, tell them what you're going to tell them. 2, tell them 3, tell them that you told them. Who remembers this? I used to get so confused. I'd be like, wait a minute, did I tell them that I told them, or did I just tell them? What? I never understood that. And now we know that because of neural coupling, our relationship cannot be consecrated from anything that is not authentic. Speakers who share their stories in a way that's relatable, that's what gets in here. That's the magic bullet. And once you've engaged your audience in a way that speaks to them, once neural coupling is underway, then you have a captive audience. Then you have an opportunity to teach them something. Then you will give them an experience that they never forget, because people don't connect with facts. They connect with feelings.